It's fantasy football draft season. We're trying to figure out which players we want to draft, what strategies we want to use, and today we're looking at a batch of players. We're going to strategize around them, see whether or not you want to draft them in your drafts coming up. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at players every day. We're doing the rankings. We're going to help you set your lineups. We're going to find you gems off the waiver wire. It's all right here. It's free. Click that button. Stop missing out. But today, we're looking at Tyler Warren first thing. And some of you guys may think I don't like Tyler Warren. I actually like him a lot. I actually like him a lot as a prospect. I think a lot of people jump the shark with lazy analysis with them, and I had to rebuttal that, but I like him a lot as a prospect. And you see that best comparable from playerprofiler.com there. Metrically, he compares to them somehow, some way, athletically, with the production, with the numbers meshed together. But the thing is, you can use him everywhere. In the backfield, down the seam, on the outs, inline, outline. He's just dependable, a good blocker. He's aggressive. That's what you're getting out of Tyler Warren. That's what I like about him. And that's going to be great for real football. And when I'm looking at him at fantasy football redraft this year, he's coming off the board around the tight end 9 range. And that might fluctuate in home league drafts. He might be a little bit cheaper. It may be a little bit cheaper in home league drafts as well, as long as you're not really drafting in Indiana or even in Pennsylvania. But Tyler Warren is a tight end that has a lot of upside. And the tight end position's strange week to week when it comes to scoring. Usually your top 3 to 5 tight ends, they score very well compared to the other positions. But somewhere around tight end 8, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there, they're not really scoring more than the tight end 25. Now, there are some weeks where it's not like that, and you can get deep into double-digit scoring at the tight end position, into the 12, 13, 14, 15 spot in the scoring rankings for that week. But there's a lot of weeks where the tight end 8, 7, 6 scores you 9 fantasy points. It's 3 points more than the tight end 25. Kind of hyperbole, kind of not. It's out there. It happens. It happened last year. And last year was very strong at the tight end position, actually. Years prior, we've had a lot of dank weeks from the position. So what I'm getting at here, that as once things start thinning out at tight end, around the tight end 9 range, 10, 11, 12, depending on your home league and how they're drafting rookies. Rookies you'll catch at a discount in a lot of home leagues. Maybe you want to shoot for that upside. Maybe if they have the right quarterback in there, whether it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, maybe they pepper him with targets. Maybe he gets a run. Maybe it's in the back end of the season. And when he's ramping up, he's scoring like tight end 20, but it's not far off from tight end 12, 9, whatever. And then he hits midway through the year and gives you top 5 tight end production. Maybe that happens. Opportunity cost is on the board here. You're looking at some running backs here with some upside. You're looking at some wide receivers here that you might like, but it's thinning out. You should be strong at wide receiver before you get to Tyler Warren. It's really him. Maybe you're going late round quarterback, another tight end you like later, or one of those upside running backs, but he's also an upside tight end. Maybe you want to go with a tight end early, then get a Tyler Warren just in case the quarterbacks are not good this year. And it's rough for everybody involved with the Colts. That could happen. It's not just him, but the quarterback play. That could be the downside with Tyler Warren. But the talent's there, and he's kind of expensive for the gamble on underdog. But I look for him to be cheaper in home leagues. But now we're looking at Rome Odunze. Round 5 draft capital on underdog, which means he's probably going to go round 6, 7-ish in your home league drafts. And why do we like Rome Odunze? Why should we like Rome Odunze should be the question. He pushed to a 20% target share, almost there, 19.2% last year. 49th among wide receivers. Out there on almost 90% of the routes last year at 87.2. Running 32.5 routes per game. And had an 8 out of 13.8. So that tells me if we take a step forward into our second year, with the additions to this team, they upgraded the offensive line. They added talent to it at least. Quarterback in the second year of his career. DJ Moore's there. Keenan Allen's out. Luther Burden has been scorching in camp. Rome Odunze could hit. He could be a guy that becomes a nightmare in fantasy, one way or the other. The way it could run bad is Caleb Williams does not take a step forward. Luther Burden takes a massive step forward, and he's a top 10 wide receiver. But Rome Odunze, if that happens in those regards, I believe he's good enough to be a volatile scoring option in fantasy football. I think he has the chance to hit pretty good. I think he has a chance to get above a 20% target share and get more than 6 targets per game in this offense. I think his targets are going to be downfield. Those are harder to hit targets for a quarterback. So there's going to be some games where he's going to be ringing a good average depth of target. Caleb Williams is going to miss him. There's going to be some games where he hits them and he's going to score big. I look for him to get 3 to 4 wide receiver 1 weeks this year and 2 to 3 to 4 wide receiver 2 weeks and some anticlimactic games where DJ Moore's soaking up targets. Maybe Luther Burden starts hitting in stride. Caleb Williams might have some regression games here since he's in year 2. And he showed that up and downs during training camp. The price is up there though, but in home league drafts, it could be a little bit cheaper where he could be your wide receiver 3-4 depending on your build, how hard you slammed wide receiver, and he could be your expensive upside play. Now you're looking at Rico Dowdle, and what I'm gathering from the Panthers here is he's going to be their 1B back. They've always wanted to use 2 running backs, but Miles Sanders sucked so bad they couldn't do that, and Chuba Hubbard's good. He's going to be getting the work. He's going to be getting the opportunity, but Rico Dowdle got some opportunities early in that preseason game, but it's not enough to get you excited. But he's also got double-digit draft capital here in fantasy football, and if you got Chuba, you might want to pick up Rico just in case. But I also look for this Panthers team to cook a little bit more this year. They're looking good at wide receiver with T-Mac there. Bryce Young came into his own last year in the back end of the season. I look for this offense to be a little bit sneaky. I look for this team to be sneaky, as in they're going to beat a few teams that they shouldn't beat on paper, and they're going to be decent, and they're going to win some games, and they're going to start coming along. I look for that to happen, and Rico Dowdle is going to be a part of that. He's a safe, dependable veteran running back. He does not have the upside to win your league, but if you're looking for a cheap veteran who could be safe, who could get you some opportunity, here you go. If you're looking for straight up upside, it's all throughout these rounds, and they're year 2 running backs like Braylon Allen or rookies that are sitting there right in front of your face. Go with one of those instead. But if you're looking for something steady that could help you week to week when setting lineups, getting some points, here you go. Now you're looking at Matthew Stafford. Is he in? Is he out? Is he going to start the season? Can he play a full season? Those are the questions. Now your next question is, at QB 26 off the board on Underdog, and you're going late round quarterback, and you're drafting kind of early to the point it's not before the start of the season, before you get the definitive news, and you're going to make the choice that if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to stream, but I'm also going to make sure I get the handcuff lottery ticket running backs that I want, the upside wide receivers that I want, and I'm going to pound those out, and I'm going to go late quarterback. And you look at what he did last year, and remember, Puka Nacua was out some weeks last year, so he was not getting the same effect. But when Puka Nacua is back, and now you're adding Devontae Adams, this could be a quarterback that smokes. On top of that, I've seen clips like throwing with fans and stuff, so maybe he's back. It's his day-to-day on Sleeper. He's super cheap. It's a risk. So how I would play this risk if I was thinking it through is I would go late round quarterback, make him my guy because that's the objective here in this situation, but I'm open-minded to playing the waiver wire. If it's a deeper league where there's no waiver wire, you got to pick another quarterback before him, which kind of makes it tough to have 2 quarterbacks in redraft unless you need it for a 2 QB Superflex league. But that would be my strategy with him. If I'm nervous about it and I have to feel good at quarterback, I just have to. Like, I'm not a serious gamer. I'm not in 20 leagues. My league is throw around money, $20, $50 to buy in. I'm playing with my friends. Then cool. Get you one of the other quarterbacks is good. But if you're spicy, you like strategy, you want to mess around a little bit, you're in a bunch of leagues, that could be something to explore. Now we're looking at Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice is going to start the season. He's probably going to get suspended somewhere down the line. Could it be 2 to 4 games, 4 to 6 games? I don't know. But he's also coming into year 2. He's been looking good in training camp. He's got that 4.2 speed. Probably the fastest man in the NFL, or at least one of them. And he's on an offense that's very, very efficient. I look for him to ramp up this year. And we kind of saw that last year. We talked about rookie ramp-ups. His came dead nuts into the season. You saw that on the chart. And it could be starting to explode this year. He's looking good in camp. He's looking fluid. Wide receiver 24 off the board. And you're looking at an upside play where he can give you similar results to some of the wide receivers on the board. You do have some consistent wide receivers there who year on and year out can give you good production. You're also looking at production with Rashee Rice out for a few weeks middle of the year. Xavier Worthy is a guy that if you're looking for somebody on the come up, this could be it. Joe Mixon, not really practicing. We do not know what to do with him. He's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. At the price tag here, it's that J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne price point. Travis Etienne, we're going to talk about him later, but he's running with the 1 still. Joe Mixon, though, when he's healthy and getting the touches, he's on for fantasy football. Nick Chubb's had some moments in practice, and he could be sharing the workload this year once healthy. He's missed almost all of training camp, hasn't been out there. We do not know when he's coming back. I would like him cheaper. I would like him a little bit cheaper. Wide receiver is starting to thin out in this range. Running back too. And I would like some of these upside lottery ticket running backs, though. Some of these RB2s. When he's healthy and on the field, though, he can get you RB1 production. Right now, he's RB30 off the board. I don't know if I want to wait around for him. If I'm going 0 RB and I'm looking at him, I might think about it a little bit more because maybe he comes back and I can use him. He might be on my roster and I can't use him and I have to drop him. He might be preventing me from getting a lottery ticket running back that I like. I think there's going to be some sunk cost with that. I think there's going to be hopium throughout the season. I think there's a good chance he's sharing some of that workload. I think there's a chance he gives you a run of 3 to 4 weeks, and then it's anticlimactic. If I could guess his season, it's going to be a run of 3 to 5 weeks. Then it turns anticlimactic one way or another, and he's going to be sharing some of the workload. Now we're looking at T. Higgins, wide receiver 13 off the board. ADP around that 25 range. Healthy, a full season, you're getting a good wide receiver. He got paid. He got that cash. The Bengals are only investing in their 2 wide receivers and Joe Burrow. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts. Healthy and on the field. He's going to be able to produce for you. He's expensive. Jamar Chase is expensive. You may want to stack him with Burrow in that case if you're going to do that, especially if you're doing best ball here like you're seeing with the ADP. But when he's healthy and on the field, you see that in the chart. Like, there's rarely any single-digit weeks there. He's scoring in the double digits. He got paid. He got that money. He's happy out there. He'll probably strap it out. He's out there to win instead of seeing his leverage for his next bag. That's something to pay attention to as well. So, at this price tag, it's fine. Opportunity costs, you're looking at Rashee Rice, who's probably getting suspended. You got McConkey, A.J. Brown, Drake London, and those guys are coming before him. After him is Tyreek Hill, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson. So of the top wide receivers, it's starting to thin out a little bit. You could also go running back, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, something like that. But when he's healthy, he's out there. He's scoring for you, and he's producing. Rashard Smith's one of my favorite flyers out there in the double-digit rounds. I have not talked about him enough lately. It's been a while. We've looked at his clips. He's running with the ones. If something happens to Rashee Rice and he's suspended for a bit, we're middle of the season, maybe somebody's banged up on top of that, he could be getting opportunities as a wide receiver. They move him around. They put him in the slots. That's where he's getting work with the ones. He's in the backfield. He's there, Jerick McKinnon. They obviously want that back. A receiving threat out of the backfield with that juice. He's got 4.3 speed. He's cheap. I'm watching the routes ran per week. I'm watching his snaps. I'm drafting him as a lottery ticket, and I'm willing to turn and burn my lottery tickets too for lottery tickets that's starting to show some promise. Now we're looking at Keon Coleman. Right now, when I look at this team, I'm looking at the wide receivers there. Palmer, Shakir, and I'm looking at Elijah Moore on top of him. And I could see a full-blown carousel effect where on any given Sunday, one of these wide receivers are blowing up and Josh Allen really doesn't care. Keon Coleman has some nice clips from camp. He's been looking good, but he looks good in camp because his style of play makes him perfect for camp, for those highlight plays. Just going up and getting those balls, those 1v1s downfield, and you get a lot of reps with that. What I believe, though, is we're going to get a great average depth of target. 15.2 last year. Should be 12 or higher this year. Target share, we want to see that ramp up. We want to see him starting getting 5 or more targets a game. And we want to see that start to get consistent. Back in the season, last 2 weeks, 17 and 18, 7 and 10. We had 2 games with 7 prior to that, another game with 5, and another game with 5 when you look at the chart. We need more volume in the passing offense, in pure targets. The ADOT's good. I look for him to give you some Gabe Davis effect here. Like 3 to 4 wide receiver 1 weeks, a lot of nada, and maybe a few more wide receiver 1 weeks. Going to be tough to want to start him. He's going to be great for daily fantasy football. He's going to be amazing for best ball. You're going to throw him in there for hopes and prayers. But hopium should not be a thing with Keon Coleman, but he is going to show you more of that upside. Devon Achane. If this Dolphins team is cooking on offense, then you're going to be looking at him. On top of that, from what I'm seeing from the camp clips, especially from the joint practices, those DBs are getting torched. They're going to be in shootouts. He runs a lot of routes. He gets used in the passing game. My strategy with him is I'm probably doubling up if I'm on that turn, him and Henry. Achane and Henry just seems like a perfect turn for me. Or you go him, Amon-Ra, if he's still on the board. But him and Henry just seems perfect. It feels good. Then after that, I'm slamming wide receivers. And then I get to the dead zone area. It's not really a dead zone. You get to the top of it. You're looking at that. I'm either taking that fork in the road, going with one of those high-graded rookies, Hendo, Harvey, Johnson, or I'm going with a dependable veteran to round out that top end of my running back depth chart. And if I go with the vets, then I'm taking nothing but lottery tickets in the double-digit rounds at running back. If I'm going with the rookies, then in the double-digit rounds, I'm taking a dependable veteran somewhere around there and still a bunch of lottery tickets. That's what I'm doing with Devon H, and you do what you want to do. But now we're looking at Stephon Diggs. He's cheap. He could be getting wide receiver 1 fantasy-wise targets. He's making plays downfield. People are wondering about the ACL. He's fine. He's been making plays. He's cheap for what he is. You're looking at what's around him at wide receiver. You're either seeing ambiguous young players or you're seeing veterans in weird situations where it could go one way or the other. You say the same thing about Diggs with May and the Patriots, but one thing about Diggs, stud veteran, last leg of his career, but he showed you with the Texans in a new situation last year, he can command targets. He'll command targets here with the Patriots. And we're looking at Tank Bigsby right now. Travis Etienne came out with the ones. I think Tank Bigsby in the double-digit rounds is a fine veteran to look at. He's a fine veteran to look at because he's going to be getting opportunity. There could be attrition with his team. He'll be getting workload. I think it'll look a lot like last year where there'll be a run of games where Tank Bigsby's the guy or you're wondering about Travis Etienne. Next thing you know, Tank Bigsby is a guy that's a hot commodity and he'll flip back and forth. I think he'll get red zone looks. I think they'll use him up the gut. I think Tank Bigsby is going to be okay for you in drafts here in the double-digit rounds, especially you got Travis Etienne. That's a little bit expensive. He's not a super upside play, but like I've been saying, those later round dependable running backs that are veterans, this is one of those guys that you could look at. They're not sexy, but if they were sexy, they'd be drafted in the top 5 rounds. Those are the 5 players that we're looking at today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who are you drafting? Everything else. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.